Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the weekly comic book roundup. We've got about halfway through roundup, so let's keep on trucking. Kick things off with Daredevil number 5. Where we left off, Daredevil and Elektra were married in a ceremony for the fist. They continue to build their army against the Hand. So, we have some interesting stuff, like apparently as Doc Samson is working with the Fist, he is, Daredevil is, he's basically helping make sure that, to keep the Fist leadership on the up and up. But the ceremony that resulted in Matt and Elektra's marriage has enhanced the attributes of the members of the Fist, including, as especially noted, Foggy Nelson, who's now much more agile and capable of feats he was not capable of previously. Though Cole, he's not really digging it. It doesn't feel right to him. Though, and Daryl points out, there's not a single superhero there's not a single superpower that isn't unnatural. But the Book of the Fist is since Daredevil and Elektra's wedding, the Book of the Fist has been revealing itself. Bits and pieces of prophecy being now being able to be read. But they've got a plan to increase their numbers. They're going to raid the Miracleman, the offshore prison for supercriminals. One of the offshore prisons for supercriminals. It turns out that the Miracleman is where during Devil's Reign, captured heroes were imprisoned. Daredevil does point out how messed up it is that while Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Danny Rand, Moon Knight, while they all broke out, they left everyone else there. However, this serves the Fist's purposes, as that's where they're going to recruit. Agony appears to be one of the potential recruits. Not really sure. They show a few other prisoners, but I can't entirely tell who they are. It's also made clear they're not going to be able to get everyone out. They don't have the time for that. Really, just like one or two blocks. The Spider-Man villain Stegron is also among those that gets brought in or gets freed. But while Elektra's leading the jailbreak, Matt takes on U.S. Agent and absolutely just annihilates him, taking his shield in the process. On his way out, Matt encounters Goldie, who says he can help Matt get to where he needs to be. However, Matt leaves him there. Later, Captain America and Iron Man are watching the security camera footage and note that there was a point where Daredevil pointedly Matt looked at the camera to basically say, "Yes, I did this," as if to say, "Yes, I did this," and Captain America stays it there, bringing in Daredevil. I mean, Cap, Tony, you guys can try. Ain't gonna do any good, but you can try. I'm really loving Daredevil. I honestly wish I had gotten in on Chip Zdarsky's run when it initially started. Not this new, not the more recent #1, but when the run itself started a few years ago. Moving on to our next book, we have Doctor Strange, Fall Sunrise #1. This is a miniseries by Trad Moore, doing the art and writing. It's really trippy. But Doctor Strange awakes in an unfamiliar realm and is trying to make his way back to, well, around home. He encounters various obstacles along the way, which Tradmore's art style really just, makes us. I hate to put to the point, it's hard to read because the visuals are so vibrant, and it's hard to focus on anything aside from the visuals. That said, there are multi-page spreads where there's no dialogue whatsoever, or even narration. But Strange, like I said, Strange has to make his way through various obstacles on his way home. As the first issue goes on, he makes his way to a human settlement, but Strange ends up being captured and taken prisoner, and that is where the issue ends. It's interesting. I kind of decided to go ahead and pick this up on something of a whim. I've decided to get a bit more into Doctor Strange of late. He's a character. He's a character I've enjoyed for years. There was actually a brief period in the '90s where I was reading Doctor Strange fairly regularly. I'd gotten into the Midnight Suns books, and well, Doctor Strange was when I got into said line of books. Doctor Strange had been officially folded into the line, so I tend to associate Doctor Strange with the Midnight Suns. Speaking of Midnight Suns, our next book is Midnight Suns #3. Where we left off, Clea, the current Sorcerer Supreme, had banished the Suns to the Dark Dimension in an effort to potentially prevent the apocalyptic vision that all the magic users had. And Agatha Harkness had taken Zoe Laveau away from Strange Academy for safekeeping and told her about her own past. So Agatha and Zoe are trying to do what they can to prevent the coming apocalypse, though they're faced with a ghost from Agatha's past and Zoe's ancestry. In the Dark Dimension, the Suns are trying to make their way home. Kashala takes over manages to turn a giant bat into a ghost. The kind of ride that a Ghost Rider would go for. So basically, flaming giant bat skeleton. But they're being assaulted by arrows from the Citadel. Upon arrival, it turns out the Citadel is populated by vampires. Huh, if only they had a vampire hunter. Oh, wait, they've got Blade with them. The Citadel is largely made of wood. Huh. If only. Huh, I mean, it's almost like it was made to kill vampires. Yeah, Blade makes quite a few wood stakes, and both Wolverine and Magic get in on the vampire killing action as well. As does Kashala. However, Nika Minoru is feeling kind of she's regretting the fact that she sent the staff of one into space. But Magic gives her a pep talk, and and our heroes continue through the Citadel and find imprisoned within Sorcerer Supreme of Earth, Tony Stark. Yes. So Tony makes them armor to allow them to continue on. And the demon that Valtor, the demon that Agatha Harkness had nearly freed in the past, well, his forces are getting stronger, and well, it's looking more and more like maybe Agatha's going to accidentally bring about things. But so the Midnight Suns, with their new armor, continue to make their way from the Dark Dimension. And that is where the issue ends. And to be fair, they look kind of badass. Almost has me interested in playing the game. Almost. Details about the gameplay kind of have me turned off. Wouldn't mind seeing a line of Marvel Legends figures from the game, though, especially if it's in the armored look. One can hope, right? I'll be honest. This series is kind of mediocre. I decided to try it on a whim, and kind of the downside of me is if I start reading a miniseries, well, the idea is I'll read it till the end because hey, maybe it'll pick up by then. Maybe. Moving on to our next book, we've got Miracleman: The Silver Age, number 2. Where we left off, Miracleman had returned young Miracleman to the world, and young Miracleman was it was a bit of a shock to him how the world was, and how his mentor had changed over the years, also as well as just the truth of his existence and past. So it's been a week, and young Miracleman has been learning more about the time he's been away. This includes watching a documentary about the aftermath. Well, basically, see, I would just say a documentary about Kid Miracleman. Kid Miracleman being probably one of the darkest chapters of Miracleman's ongoing run. And yeah, it's very clear. They don't. Well, we're not shown recreated panels from that run. Still, just the descriptions are But young Miracleman is set to has made a public appearance already in England, in London. Now he's making one in New York. It's a parade, so he's kind of flying through. Miracleman and his wife are watching. There's a fun little nod to the Captain Marvel family. As if I remember correctly, basically the Miracleman is a similar character to DC's Captain Marvel, better known as Shazam. So, but there's a neat little nod to those that family of characters. But young Miracleman gets to give a speech. It's interrupted by a spaceman who is not entirely in touch with reality. With his own sanity. Though it's said that it's seen as a good omen. Him showing up and is seen as a good omen. Miracleman has an idea of what to do when it comes to young Miracleman, and goes to visit him. They talk about some things to talk about, such as the fact that Miracleman's suit no longer has the MM symbol, and but Miracleman tells young Miracleman he knows how young Miracleman really feels. And Miracleman attempts to kiss him, and gets punched for it. But young Miracleman leaves. He doesn't want to be around. As it's basically kind of a, Miracleman attempted to, simply put, it could be argued that young Miracleman isn't ready to acknowledge that part of himself, that part of who he is. And the issue ends with Miracleman appearing before Avril, who has need to speak with him, though Avril looks a bit similar to young Miracleman. This is definitely getting to be an interesting book, and I am kicking myself more and more for not having picked up the omnibus. Though, hopefully, sometime soon. May have to do some kind of video if and when I get the omnibus. I'll have to do some kind of video focusing on talking about the stories within. Moving on to our next book, we've got DC vs. Vampires number 11. Where we left off, our Gotham strike team had arrived in Gotham, and they made sure that Dick Grayson knew they were there, having replaced all of the various spotlights, the bat signals, the bulbs and all the bat signals with ultraviolet. So it's rare that they all give off ultraviolet light. But we open with Constantine and Alfred talking. Apparently, Constantine has every time Alfred tries to get the booze away from John. Well, John is always able to find more. And Alfred informs John that Damien's in Gotham, which does not make John happy. But in Gotham, Damian, Babs, Dinah, Harley, and Frankenstein are dealing with the vampires. And he's just wading through them, with also assistance from some of the other members of the Bat family. In Australia, they're Steel, Supergirl, and I don't know which Wonder Twin are dealing with things when they run into. It turns out that Superman or Dick has made a deal with the various aliens, and trying to get aliens off members of various alien species off planet to avoid a diplomatic incident. The idea basically being, hey, if we get your people off world, you just leave us alone to do our thing here on Earth. Helping with that is the main man, Lobo. Meanwhile, in Smallville, Grifter, Green Arrow, and Swamp Thing are working on their plan. It looks like maybe it's coming to fruition. But turns out, basically they've got the birds have additional reinforcements in the form of no, I was mistaken in saying all of the Bat family was there, because Signal, Spoiler, well, Signal, Batgirl, and Batgirl, Cassandra and Stephanie both show up, as does Roy Harper. But yeah, Lobo's working with the vampires because, well, why else would Lobo work with someone? He's being paid. But the whole plan was to get Supergirl to sneak Supergirl onto a ship leaving. But Lobo informs Martian Manhunter and Miss Martian that he not to help him because he knew that they wouldn't make it. But yeah, he's been bribed. He's been further bribed by Steel and company, and so Steel and Lobo fight the Martians, while Battle of Gotham rages on. But some of the Vampires of Gotham get some additional backup in the form of Cassie Sandsmark, Wonder Girl, Mr. Freeze, KG Beast. I'm not entirely clear who the others are, but things don't entirely look good for Batgirl and her team. But Marsh Manor goes to basically, figures, oh, well, we've caught Supergirl, we're going to... However, he doesn't, and she's hidden away on the ship as it lifts off into space, sitting by the window, and so Marsh Manhunter destroys the ship with his Martian vision. And that is where the issue ends. fairly certain that Kara survived. We'll have to see when the last issue comes out next month. I'm really enjoying DC versus Vampires. First of all, I also really enjoy Deceased as well. I am enjoying it, as we currently have an active series. So yeah. Moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got Young Justice Targets number 5. Where we left off, Young Justice had learned that the mastermind behind the attempt behind all the events of the series was none other than Lex Luthor. And Connor Kent was having to deal with not just Match, but also Metallo. So Young Justice is dealing with Lex's robot soldiers, while Wonder Girl, Stargirl, and Superboy are dealing with the Fatal Five, or the Fearsome Five. But Metallo basically explains everything, how Luthor's behind it all, and also goes into his origin for this universe. He has superpowers. Lex took Lex's offer of help, but was informed that apparently Lex had made a bigger offer to help, but both Superboy and Superman turned him down. Miss Martian finds Queen Perdita in the clutches of Simon, and helping Miss Martian are Arrowette, Arsenal, and Red Arrow. If I remember correctly, if I'm understanding it correctly, Arsenal is so Roy Harper was replaced during the series. I'm guessing I presume they found the actual Roy Harper, and so you've got both Arsenal and Roy. I think Arsenal is young Roy, while Red Arrow is the Roy that was the replacement Roy, basically. One of these I need to sit down and do a watch of Young Justice. I watched, I think, the first couple of seasons, and then it moved to what's now HBO Max, so I can watch it now. But yeah, but as Miss Martian and her strike team attempt to escape, well, they find yet another obstacle: Queen Perdita's uncle, Count Vertigo. And working with him is none other than Queen Bee. With Halo, Arsenal, and Red Arrow opting to falling for Queen Bee's charms, as it were, and seemingly leading to the deaths of Arrowette. The death of Arrowette, and then as well as Miss Martian being incapacitated. And then, like every other issue, we end with a memory file. Picking up where the last one had left off, with Merlin and Green Arrow dueling over Princess Perdita. I think at that point she'd just become queen. Ollie defeated Merlin, but Count Vertigo showed up trying to take his niece, but Black Canary took him down. Which led to Ollie proposing to Dinah. And that is where the issue ends. And yeah, Dinah said yes. It's been a fun book. Like I seriously, I need to watch through Young Justice to get a lot of what's going on. But anyway, that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal account in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.